Welcome back. Today, we need to talk about that incredible match last night. It was absolute tactical perfection on the field. That is what makes this game so special.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute unprecedented scale of the 2026 World Cup. We're going to be zooming all the way in from the grand geopolitical theater of the global stage right down to the literal blades of grass on the pitch. It's a massive undertaking, and the details behind how it all works are absolutely fascinating. $5 million. Now, what's really wild about this number is that it's exactly how much FIFA spent over a 5-year period just to figure out how to perfect the grass for this tournament. Seriously, not the stadiums, not the infrastructure, just the grass. Keep that in the back of your mind, because we're going to return to exactly why that number is such a huge deal a bit later on. All right, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The historic United bid. 2. Expanding to 48 teams. 3. The group stage standings. 4. The round of 32. And 5. Engineering the perfect pitch. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The historic United bid, and how 3 nations teamed up.
So, looking at this fast-track timeline, you can really see the aggressive push by the CONCACAF member federations, that's the North American soccer body, to get their joint request evaluated way ahead of schedule. Originally, the decision wasn't slated until 2020, but the United States, Mexico, and Canada essentially teamed up and pushed FIFA to accelerate the process to 2018, really leveraging the fact that no rival bids had popped up early on.
And this perfectly illustrates the final result from the 68th FIFA Congress in Moscow back in June 2018. Morocco did end up submitting a competing bid, but the United bid decisively secured 134 votes against Morocco's 65. In the official evaluation, the North American joint bid was rated as a low risk, which clearly gave them the overwhelming confidence of the voting member associations.
And this is a really historic moment. It marked the very first time a World Cup would be hosted by 3 countries simultaneously, setting new hosting records across the board. Mexico becomes the first country ever to host the men's tournament 3 times, adding to their 1970 and 1986 legacy. The U.S. is hosting for the 2nd time, and Canada welcomes the Men's World Cup for the very first time.
Moving to Section 2, expanding to 48 teams, making this the biggest tournament ever.
As you can see, transitioning from the traditional 32-team format up to a 48-team, 12-group format, well, it completely changes the entire DNA of the tournament. We aren't just adding more games here. We're completely rewiring how a team actually plots its path to the final. Because instead of 8 neat groups of 4, we now have this sprawling dozen.
72. The craziest part about this format is that it takes a staggering 72 games just to trim a third of the field down for the first knockout round. Just think about that volume for a second. 72 matches are required just to eliminate the bottom 16 teams and figure out who actually makes it to the sudden death phase.
Section 3. The group stage standings and the 12-group chaos.
Now, you might be wondering, how on earth do you advance from a 12-group setup? Because a dozen groups do not easily make a round-robin path to the final. The math gets super tricky, especially for those third-place teams. In an 8-group format, the top 2 advance to make a perfect 16. But with 12 groups, the top 2 teams only give us 24. We need 32 for the knockout bracket.
So to solve this mathematical headache, the 8 best third-place teams need to fill out that 32-team bracket, and they're ranked through a rigorous tie-breaking gauntlet. It starts simply enough with total points, but if there's a tie, it cascades down to goal difference, then total goals scored. And if they are literally still tied, they look at the team conduct score, meaning they're literally counting the yellow and red cards to see who goes through.
Just look at Group D for a perfect example of the tension this system creates. The USA topped the group comfortably with 6 points and a +4 goal difference. Australia took second with 4 points and an even goal difference. But look down at Paraguay. They actually managed to scrape through as one of the best third-place teams on 4 points, despite having a -2 goal difference. They survived the chaos of the tiebreakers.
Section 4. The round of 32, which is do-or-die single elimination.
Scanning these sports page headlines, we see incredible do-or-die matchups taking place. We've got the United States taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina in Santa Clara. France dominating Sweden 3-0. But what's truly spectacular here is the matchup between Portugal and Croatia. It's an exact rematch at the 2016 Euro final, with superstars Cristiano Ronaldo and Luka Modric incredibly still leading their respective nations a full decade later. Just awesome stuff.
And we've already witnessed history being made on the pitch. Canada secured a super tense 1-0 victory over South Africa to claim their country's first ever knockout stage win. That is a monumental milestone for a co-host nation navigating all that pressure of playing on home soil.
Finally, Section 5, engineering the perfect pitch and that $5 million science. So, going back to that $5 million question from the start, considering the immense scale of these North American venues, many of which are massive enclosed NFL arenas, how exactly did FIFA manage to engineer natural pitches indoors? Soccer strictly demands natural grass, but natural grass demands sunlight, specific temperatures, and perfect moisture, things you simply do not naturally get under a giant concrete and steel roof.
Well, the answer is CEA, or Controlled Environment Agriculture. FIFA deployed retractable LED grow lights, highly engineered root zones, and exact climate controls. And what's wild is that this is the exact same sophisticated technology that the indoor farming industry has been quietly refining for a decade to grow our actual food.
As the industry publication HortyBiz brilliantly points out, the real story here isn't just about soccer grass. It's that this tournament served as a massive, 5-year proof of concept for the future of plant science. FIFA effectively built a string of multi-million-dollar indoor farms inside mainstream real estate assets and executed the whole thing flawlessly, right in front of billions of viewers who mostly had no idea they were looking at a total triumph of agricultural engineering.
So as we watch the rest of this historic 48-team tournament unfold across 3 nations, it leaves us with one incredibly provocative thought to chew on. When we tune in to see if the US advances, or if Ronaldo can capture one last piece of glory, are we just watching a football game, or are we actually witnessing the technological future of how humanity will grow its food? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a completely new way to look at the beautiful game.
That is all for today. We need to talk about that incredible match last night. It was absolute tactical perfection on the field and the field. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.